Hi guys, my name is Will, and I love technical tricks in kendama, and that's because technical tricks require you to understand the trick and its components at a really deep level for you to even attempt a technical trick. And in the last 4 years, we've seen so many technical innovations for one trick, the Goon circle. Now, this is a Goon circle, and today I'm going to teach you way more than you could possibly need to know about Goon circle. Let's get into it. So first, hardware. You're going to want a weight matched setup. That is one where the ken and the tama are within a few grams of each other. The type of string that you use doesn't matter too much, but string length definitely does. You can measure string length by putting your tama on top of the ken, taking your fingers and putting it like this, and however many fingers you can fit underneath the base cup is going to be your string length. You can see here my regular setup is about 10-11 fingers right now. And for the sake of this video, I'm actually going to be switching over to a 4-finger setup because it is a lot easier for me to show how differences in your technique can change the Goon circle to be less consistent or more consistent. And that's really what this video is going to be mostly about. Now, short string and long string both have their advantages. A shorter string will make the Goon circle go a lot faster, so it's a little bit harder to track, but it will also be moving faster. And there's a lot less effort required to throw those Goon circles, whereas with a longer string, the Goon's going to travel for a lot longer in the air. You have more time to sort of see what's going on, but you need to put in a lot more effort to make a longer string Goon circle work. Players who explore Goon circle a lot tend to stick between 6 to 8 fingers in their string length. And that's because it's sort of a middle distance. It allows them to do a bunch of different tricks on either end of the spectrum. Now let's get into the trick. The biggest thing about the Goon circle is when you throw the Goon circle, you want the ken and the tama to be chasing each other such that you could trace a circle on the two pieces, and the tama and ken would overlap every 180 degrees of revolution. If you have a ken heavy or a tama heavy setup, instead of one circle, you'll see that there are going to be 2 circles. The heavier piece is going to do a smaller circle on the inside, while the lighter piece is going to do a bigger circle on the outside. And this is still playable, but it makes everything a little bit harder to anticipate because you can't see the tama coming around and know the ken's going to be there in 180 degrees. Instead, you're going to have to do a little bit more work to anticipate the ken. The trajectory of the Goon circle itself is key to getting consistency on the Goon circle. If the Goon circle is moving away from your torso, then when you catch the ken, the tama is going to keep running away from the torso. If you do a Goon circle and it comes towards your torso, when you catch the ken, the tama is going to shoot right towards you. So these are things you got to be aware of. The most consistent Goon circle is going to be one that travels straight up and down, where the circle doesn't move forwards or away from you. A cool benefit of tossing the Goon circle so that it moves straight up and down is that as soon as you release the ken and watch the tama, wherever the tama is after 180 degrees, the ken is going to return to after another 180 degrees. It allows you to sort of check your hand placement before you even have to catch the ken. So you can use that to be a little bit more consistent. Next, you do need to understand the best time to catch the ken, and that is also going to affect whether the tama moves towards or away from you, as well as how consistently it revolves. If you can catch the ken such that the string is just about horizontal, the tama is going to be moving straight upwards with a slight revolution, allowing you to easily spot the bevel. If you catch a little bit late, then instead that tama is going to be shooting towards you with less revolution, and you're going to have to react really fast to get that spike. Finally, if you catch it a little bit early, the tama is going to run away from you, and moreover, it's probably going to create twang. Twang happens whenever you get more string tension after you catch the Goon. So you might catch it, and the twang snaps the tama into a random rotational path, making that bevel near impossible to spot accurately. Now, there is one thing a lot of players do when they catch the ken a little bit early, is that they not only catch the ken and sort of let that twang happen, but they then tug the ken towards them, creating more twang and shooting the Tama straight towards the spike. Now, you might get a Goon circle like this, and that's fine, good for you, but it's not the fully consistent, fully predictable Goon circle that you're going to be able to land every single time. The best way to catch a Ken is you catch the Ken and you lift it up and towards the Tama immediately. That removes any further effect of the string on the Tama and allows you to have a lot more control as you catch the bevel on the spike. Another effect on the Tama's position and revolution that you're going to want to consider is when during the circles rising and falling you catch the Ken. If you do a Goon circle and it rises up and it starts falling back down before you catch the Ken, you'll find that the Tama doesn't go very high at all and its revolution is pretty slow. Likewise, if you throw a Goon circle and you catch it while the whole circle is still rising, you'll notice the Tama is going to shoot really high upwards with a lot more speed. You're going to find the best place is probably somewhere in the middle. It is going to be up to you to find what is most consistent for your Goon circle. But if you want time to do variations like late Ken flip or things like that, you're definitely going to want to catch the Ken while the Goon circle itself is still rising. Another component of the Goon circle that does affect the height of the Tama is going to be the speed at which you throw the Goon circle. A really slow Goon circle is again not going to give that Tama very much power for it to lift up. And a very fast Goon circle, while it'll give that Tama plenty of power, is going to become a little bit harder to track the Ken to be able to catch it. So again, there's going to be a perfect middle ground for you where you are going to be able to consistently anticipate the Ken as well as give the Tama enough power for it to raise up. And that is just going to be something that trial and error of throwing a Goon circle is going to give you. If you can follow the earlier parts of this video and everything I've said up until now, the speed at which you throw the Goon should fall out quite naturally and it will make the trick really simple. One last thing you're going to want to keep an eye on is the plane of the Goon. You want to line up your Goon circle so that the Ken and the Tama rotate so that your dominant eye is looking down the plane of the Goon circle. If you toss a Goon such that it's a little bit sideways or a little bit out of plane with your eye, not only is it going to be harder to catch the Ken because it's a little bit less predictable, but it's also going to be more likely that your Tama has like a little bit of a sideways revolution. The bevel is going to be harder to anticipate. So what I like to do is make sure that when I toss the Tama up for the Goon circle, that my hand with the Ken is in between my eye and the Tama. That way it's straight overhead. I can look down the plane and get a nice bevel rotation right onto that spike. Finally, just be aware that everything I've mentioned so far in this video are just components of the Goon circle. And you might get away with one or two components not being optimized, but when it comes to variating Goon circles and getting those Goon pinches and consecutive Goons and late Goons and re-Goons, you're going to need to play around with these components. You're going to need to break one of the rules of the Goon circle to create a new type of Goon circle. So these components are important to understand because they are the basis of variations for Goon circle. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Please subscribe, like the video. If you learned something, comment. If you feel like you got more questions and answers, drop me a comment. I want to make sure that these tutorials are as good as possible. And in the future, I've got tutorials coming out on loops, on Goon pinch techniques, on re-Goons, on all sorts of Goon variations, including late Goon. So make sure you subscribe so you can see those new videos as they come out. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with me today and learning hopefully something a little bit new about Goon circle. And I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.